Yes! We go from one church area to another. And here's the residence cast. But that's also not the only important one here. Hey, Lindau. I like how even they don't even realize it's not Vash. This is true. Now the real question, and I mentioned this earlier. I noticed that they went back to the General of Darkness Koji, or the Shin Mazinger Koji, instead of the Mazinger Infinity. I'm wondering if that's a sign that we could see Mazinger Zero again. That's a long story. Because as it is with SRY, with the cast we have two Singularity points. We have the Godzilla from Singularity Point, which is, as I said, a quantum anomaly. And then we have Getter Emperor. Yeah, so everyone just kind of walked into an area. He was walking into the church on his mission, and he ended up here, and they were walking into the cathedral. So it's all kind of linked with the church. But instead, none of them wound up in the area they were supposed to. They have wound up in the cathedral from the world, otherwise known as .hack. They are currently in a video game. We're in a video game within a video game. All the time, fucking hell. This space is connected to everywhere. We're in cyberspace. Maybe. We haven't seen the... Because like they've been adding to the trademark list with the announcements. So we just might not have seen it yet. Yeah, let's see. Get this chest. The other ones are in the area. But yeah, you can see the Residence cast has such a good amount of range. Yeah, Zephyr built dual machine guns and then we have I'm sorry. The dual machine gun things as someone who's played Resonance of Fate does bother me. It's really good for scratch damage, but that is it. And there's the rest of the cast. Yeah, it's a goddess, but it's the wrong one. This feels familiar to Tron, like she's been here before. She's not been in this world, though. And Shamu she does remember it. Which is interesting, because this world has not been in, was not in Namco X Capcom. As you know, it's even Reishi's like, what the fuck? How have you been here? Why the fuck Shamu knows? It's hysterical. True. I've never gone into full late game. I usually have, I didn't do full scratch damage, if I remember correctly. I still had the balancing, but that's also just because their levels are tied to their level with the guns. So you need to switch between scratch and hard damage, as well as fucking grenades. Otherwise, the character's levels get under-leveled, which is what became a problem for me, so I had to actually level grind. Yeah, everyone I've ever talked to about Resonance, it's like, I've only gotten to the halfway mark. Like, I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who's beaten Resonance of Fate. Okay, no, there we go. Yeah. Switch them and... There we go. Up, see ya! There we go. Yeah, it's really good just to keep the Resonance cast together. Their combos work together very well. I probably just never got really far enough into Resonance to have the justification for dual scratch damage. Last time I played, if I remember correctly, I was just completing the part where she's sick. And you have to navigate through a dungeon with just Vash and Zeph. And fuck, that is brutal. At that point, I really couldn't. I did start using grenades a lot more, though. I did notice that. Those who never played Resonance, so what I mean by scratch damage is, Resonance of Fate has a mechanic where you could do damage with machine guns, but it doesn't stick unless you shoot them with a handgun. Hence, scratch damage. Like, it's really easy to inflict scratch damage, but it recovers really fast. Now we're here and we haven't even seen the main characters of this world. Forgot how long it takes for them to show up. Though I forget if it's this chapter or they show up the next one. I think... Yeah, no, we haven't even had the chapter intro name yet. So yeah, we still got more. You want the better experience gain rates from the Resonance cast, you want to use that machine gun combo. Now that I've got them, I could actually start spamming my specials. The nice thing about the Resonance cast and why I've been waiting to get them is they've got a large amount of reach, decent movement, and they are really good for extra point buildup. They only get better in the next game, because in the next game they swap around some of the units. For the Resonance cast, and with the better extra point rates of that game, they are stupidly good at generating it. I actually forgot how long it takes to get the Resident Evil cast. Let's see. Nah. Okay, there you go. Here they come. So now we've got just straight up monsters. We've got goblins and we've got headless knights. They do look like monsters of the Makai realm. And they're not from Basil. They're a little too cartoonish. They're not like the Beastmen of Sakura Wars. And Shawu knows she's fought them before. And Reiji's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No. There they are. You're in classy fantasy outfits. If you can't see by the term PCs, then again, they're playing a video game. As in player characters. Of course Shabu would know him. Kite is actually a bit of a famous name. And yeah, so that's Kite from the Dot Hackers and not Black Nose, and Black Rose from the same guild. Yeah. Yeah, she's been in this kind of space before because of the last game. They're hacking, but at least they're having fun. They haven't realized yet that people I said she's an otaku. Uh-oh. She would have been very helpful during the events of Dot Hack.
お仕置きは後でってね。とりあえずカイトって子たちは味方ってことよね。なんか勝手に話が進んでるけど、いいのカイト？
うん。ここは協力して戦おう、ブラックローズ。この人たちを助けて事情を聞かなくちゃ。
わかったわ。じゃ、始めましょう。
アウラ、このザ・ワールドでまた何か起ころうとしているのかい？
The dot hackers. Dot hack is... God, please just re-release Dot Hack 1. I'd really like... I've never actually finished the first Dot Hack because of the fact that it's really hard to get a hold of. If we were to cover Dot Hack, it'd sadly probably be in the same vein as like the Nightmare, how the Nightmare Before Christmas was streamed for me, just because of the fact that that series is really fucking hard to get a copy of. The sequel, GU, is really easy. Because, like, they've re-released GU on multiple consoles, including PC and the Nintendo Switch. I just really wish that treatment would apply to the original. Ah, and there he is! Terror of Death. He was the start of everything. Skeet had the ability to actually put people into comas. Kite and Black Rose are really good scout units. They move really fucking fast. Okay, I'm gonna let Skeet come to me. The only thing is their damage, they're pretty decent against light foes, but they, if I remember correctly, have really bad barrier break potential. And that's the biggest issue I have with them in terms of, like, combat. And it only gets worse for them in Cross Zone 2. They have no barrier breaker moves. They're a unit that... They're one of the units I'd actually recommend pairing with Phoenix Wright. Like, they deal a shit ton of damage if set up correctly. But, it's just... it requires a decent chunk of setup. That's why I love them, these characters also, because of the fact that they have that reach. They're really good for just putting with anyone as a support. They can actually make up for some characters' lack of movement. And now that I actually have characters who are just good as extra point farms, I can actually use some more of my skills. I suppose I've never talked about zone of control. If you go by an enemy, you actually lose a movement space around them. So like, say there's an enemy in the middle of your path, you basically, because you're walking by an enemy, you get one less movement space in that direction. That's the zone of control. You can kind of see it here, like Soma can't walk in front of the headhunter. Actually, no, you can't because of the actual environment. Shit, no, I'm just dumb. No, let's see. Let's see. Nah, no one's really... Oh, fuck! No one's really got it right now. The main thing is, though, you lose some movement when there's an enemy in the middle of your path. Good, I have enough to use it. They're a special data drain. One of the more iconic attacks of Dot Hack. In the actual game, if I remember correctly, you couldn't use this skill too much because every time you use it, you were corrupting your character. And if it hit 100, you will die. I've never actually personally gone to use Data Drain. Well, at least on the original Dot Hack. Data Drain is different in GU. Okay, now we start moving everyone forward to deal with Skeeth. If you did break any of the railings, I don't believe Skeeth could come at you, so you could actually control the flow of this level a little bit. You know what? No, actually, yeah, no, I can afford to attack Skeeth with them. They aren't going to game over me if they die in this area. Data drain. So actually, interesting thing, it's, if I remember correctly, the, weapon of Skeeth is changed in this version. In the original Japanese version of Dot Hack, Skeeth's weapon is a Celtic Cross. Yeah, but it was changed in the Western release. Actually, I think this is the original. Let me double check. Let me see. There goes Skeeth. Yeah, so the original Japanese version of Infection, Skeeth's wand, which appears in the English version as a large red staff with a Q shape at the tip, is actually represented by a Celtic cross. This was censored for the American release in favor of the Q-shaped version from Dot Hack Sign. So yeah, I think this one is the is more modeled after the original release.
行きましょう。
このまま押し切らせてもらうぜ。もらった。打ちまくるぜ。大本だろ。お遊びもここまでってな。見たいぜ。
そこ。
悪いな。
誘導だ。切ります。
消える。
気ままにね。フォローをお願いします。そうまで。
終わらね
Is zone control just not a thing in this game? Like, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay, there we go. You can see it here more. So you can see they can't really do anything behind Skeeth, though. Let's see. Do we have... fuck it. But I think it's also just because the area is shrinking. I don't know! Shade is dumb. We've established this. I play games, but I'm not smart. I forget a lot of shit. Yeah. Every enemy, I have to like, keep adjusting to the weight. He just... Okay, there we go. As I said, he just barely survived. A new skill. The Ripple. And there he goes. Skeeth is on the loose again. Something is threatening Aura again. Not our first rodeo. Wrong kind of game, my friend. Wrong kind of game. Well, they're from the 1920s. They don't even know what a game is. Nah, in the real world, they're in a coma. Bad Morgan. Yeah, it's interesting because here's the thing that's interesting about Crossroad as compared to Super Robot Wars. All of the characters are pretty much in a post-game scenario. Even the Resident Evil characters are, while they're using the equipment, they're done their actual scenario of Resident Evil Revelations. No. And our enemies are uniting.